See, of course, Baylor setting the standard 40-0. No one has reached that since Baylor. 1995 UConn, what a run. 35-0. In 02, 39-0. 39-0. 39-0 again. UConn and Notre Dame undefeated this season and about to tangle in the national championship.
Well, we've never won 40. Every other undefeated season has been something else an L.
It's never been done at Notre Dame, so to be able to do that, and as a senior, it would be everything.
To go 40-0, it would mean a lot. I think that, everyone's always chasing the perfection, and that's what it would be. And Notre Dame's chasing the same thing.
It would mean a lot to our program. It would mean a lot to these seniors, what they've been through, this whole team.
It's exciting for us to kind of have that, hopefully that part in history.
Perfect and perfection, that's hard, and we're just trying to have fun and win.
Well, of course, last night, Kevin Ollie's UConn men won their 4th national championship, beating Kentucky. Students in stores gathering to watch and celebrate. They're going to do it again just 24 hours later, watching the women play. Meanwhile, at South Bend, Indiana, they'll be watching the Fighting Irish attempt to win their 2nd national title. Time for the Capital One starting lineups. We go back to the public address announcer, Molly Haynes.
And now let's meet the starting lineups. At guard for Notre Dame, a 5'7" freshman from Mitchellville, Maryland, number 15, Lindsey Allen. At guard for UConn, a 5'7" sophomore from Glen Heights, Texas, number 4, Mariah Jefferson. At guard for Notre Dame, a 5'10" sophomore from Lincolnwood, Illinois, number 32, Jewel Lloyd. At guard for UConn, a 5'8" senior from North Babylon, New York, number 14, Bria Hartley. At guard for Notre Dame, a 5'11" senior from Erie, Pennsylvania, number 21, Kayla McBride. At forward for UConn, a 6'0" junior from Anaheim Hills, California, number 23, Kalina Mosqueda-Lewis. At forward for Notre Dame, a 6'1" senior from Grosse Pointe Woods, Michigan, number 44, Ariel Breaker. At forward for UConn, a 6'4" sophomore from Syracuse, New York, number 30, Brianna Stewart. At forward for Notre Dame, a 6'3" freshman from Fishers, Indiana, number 12, Taya Reimer. And at center for UConn, a 6'5" senior from Port Jervis, New York, number 31, Stephanie Dolson. And introducing the head coaches for Notre Dame, Muffet McGraw. And for UConn, Gino Auriemma.
That was one highly anticipated handshake between the two head coaches, Muffet McGraw and Gino Auriemma. Let's bring in a great Holly Ronan. Holly, you'll be working the sidelines. Notre Dame played admirably without their team leader, Natalie Ochanwa, in the semifinals.
Well, that's right. She's their team captain, their emotional leader, and Natalie Ochanwa actually is who they're playing for right now. They have stepped up in her absence. She went down with a left ACL injury in their last game in the Elite Eight against Baylor. She was only down for a few moments, and despite her personal agony, she popped up and encouraged her teammates to finish their business, and they have. Here at the Final Four in their first game without her, they stepped up well. Two young players, Taya Reimer, a freshman, and Markeisha Wright, combined for 21 points and 14 rebounds. But tonight, they must be better defensively. In that last game against Maryland, at times the post players got to the rim too easily. Tonight, with UConn having two of the best in the country in Stephanie Dolson and Brianna Stewart, they've got to step up for their fallen leader, Ochanwa, once again.
All right, Holly, thank you very much. Time to play the last college basketball game of the season. And what a perfect way to bring the curtain down. UConn and Notre Dame for the national championship. Notre Dame is 37-0. UConn 39-0. UConn in the white. And they meet here for the national title. We're underway, and UConn wins the opening tip. Our officials tonight, Dee Kantner, Lisa Mattingly, and Denise Brooks.
And the Irish open in a man-to-man. An aerial breaker gets the assignment of Brianna Stewart initially.
Dolson lets fly and hits a two-pointer right out of the gate.
Last 3 games, it's been a struggle on the offensive end out of the gates for Connecticut. And right away, Dolson shows you that she can, at 6'5", step away and make shots.
Senior playing in her 4th Final Four. Here's McBride trying to answer, but can't. Rebound tip to the speedy Mariah Jefferson, one of the quickest point guards in America. Stewart with her first touch into the lane, swinging inside. Tips her own miss up and in.
She is the single most difficult matchup in women's college basketball. At 6'4" with a 7'1" wingspan and unbelievable athleticism, she is really hard to guard.
Player of the year, averaging 19 points and 8 rebounds a contest. One of the problems for UConn in the tournament, believe it or not, has been getting off to slow starts. That has not happened tonight. Nice scoop shot there on the drive by Reimer, the freshman, who's really made an impact filling in for Ochanwa.
Well, Holly is right on. And I think she had to have gained an enormous amount of confidence with their performance in the national semifinal.
Stewart again in close for 2. Early trouble for the Fighting Irish.
Now, it's interesting. She grew up a perimeter player, and Coach Oriema is working really hard to get her to be more of a post-up player. You can see why.
Jefferson went to the theft. McBride trying to lean inside. She's missed her first couple of shots, coming off 28 against Maryland. She had one of the best games of her life. Hartley from the corner, but too strong. Notre Dame with a scary good offense. 87 points a game. They're the #1 shooting team in America. They hit 51%. And that one knocked out immediately by Lindsey Allen.
These are the 2 best offenses in the country. They are 1 and 2 in field goal percentage. They both run excellent offense. In fact, you'll see a lot of similarities in the sets run on both sides.
UConn's the #2 shooting team in the country. And they're both 1-2 in assists as well. Hartley trying to get in close, got too close. And McBride lost it right on the sideline, and she is angry at herself for that turnover.
Well, watch Brianna Stewart, who at 6'4", it doesn't matter how many you come at her with. She's strong enough, she's athletic enough to play through and be able to make those kinds of plays.
Just named Associated Press Player of the Year, the Naismith Trophy winner as well. She had a great Final Four last year. That's where she became a star. And a whistle here.
Wow, they're going to call an offensive foul on Stephanie Dolson.
That brings a big grin from Stephanie, a smaller one, and a word or two from Gino.
Well, she is a serial screener. On that one, she screens and rolls to the rim, and they call an offensive foul. Wow. If they call that all night, it is going to be a tough night for Connecticut.
Allen, the freshman. In the lane, a nice give there. Great defense by Stewart as she knocks it away and collects it. She's an outstanding shot blocker. You mentioned the wingspan at 6'4". She can dunk a basketball, too. Hartley on the drive, slams on the brakes. Jefferson open but won't shoot it. She drives it instead and left it short. UConn by 2. McBride straight on, drains that. We'll see if that gets her started.
Well, this is something that Maryland allowed her to do with great consistency and paid for it in the national semifinal. If you allow McBride to come up the floor uncontested, don't change her direction and allow her to get into her rhythm. It's dangerous. She can score with anybody.
She's the ACC Player of the Year. Rhea Hartley, another senior for Gino Oriema. Get used to seeing these 5 on the floor because UConn will only play 6 at the most probably tonight. And another whistle. Stewart went down inside the lane. The foul against Notre Dame will go against Lindsey Allen.
Well, as you said, there's not a lot of depth. There's a little contact inside, and you have to make the call because you trip up Brianna Stewart. I thought the first foul call on Stephanie Dolson was bad. So not a great start for the officials. There's not enough stars in women's college basketball. Don't be in danger of putting them on the bench.
Reimer with the block right in the face of Kalena Mosqueda-Lewis. And she got that one cleanly. So Notre Dame trying to grab the lead here in the national championship. McBride running right into Dolson. And that's going to be a 3-second violation against the Fighting Irish, so they turn it over.
Well, interestingly, both teams opened man-to-man, but both teams in yesterday's practice and this morning set their offenses against zone defense. So it'll be interesting to see, are there any changes made defensively on either side?
It'll be fascinating to see how this game is going to be officiated. UConn committed the fewest fouls of any team in Division I. And a turnover. Thrown right away to Lindsay Allen. Also lightning quick. Great give to McBride for 2. Terrific bounce speed. And Notre Dame has the lead.
With both teams, the first thing you must do is take them out of transition. And the Irish may be the toughest guard in transition because of all the options they have offensively.
Dolson off the fake. Stewart taking the baseline, leaning in. Yes. Just so many skills inside and outside because she can back out and hit it from 23 feet as well. Launching way downtown. That's off target by Lloyd. Jewel Lloyd coming off a 16.9 rebound game against Maryland. Entry pass, Dolson for 2, and UConn running their offense well.
And a bigger challenge on the inside than they faced against Maryland. To me, Brianna Stewart and Stephanie Dolson are the best 4-5 tandem in women's college basketball. Maryland had depth and athleticism, but not the offensive options that UConn has inside.
Markeisha Wright in the game for Muffet McGraw. On the drive, tough shot by Allen. On the outlet, here's Hartley. She's very quick and loves to attack. Rolls it in and 1, and she'll go to the line. Bria Hartley, the WBCA All-American. She'll be at the line for a 3-point play.
You know, the pace of this is everything we could hope to start. You get the Irish or UConn out in transition, and Bria Hartley, one of the 3 first-team All-Americans this year, gets a first bucket.
Gino Auriemma's Huskies out in front on Notre Dame 12-8. Great Philadelphia ties really for both of these head coaches. Muffet McGraw as well. Go back to the early days in Philly, and it's actually Muffet from Chester, Pennsylvania. Gino from Norristown, Pennsylvania. Look at that early haircut. I mean, it's right out of American Hustle for Gino.
You remember that scene where John Travolta has got that blow dryer and he's working really hard on his hair? It looks a little
really
like that.
Hard. Yep. 6-0 spurt here for UConn. The last 49 seconds. No 3-point play for Hartley. The foul win against Jewel Lloyd.
Now, interestingly, in the man-to-man for UConn, Mariah Jefferson is guarding McBride.
Lloyd couldn't get it off the window. Jefferson to push the tempo, and now she'll back it out and wait for her teammates. And for Dolson to come back into the play. Dolson on a high set. Backdoor cut. Stewart, nicely done.
That's the read and react system. So Brianna Stewart takes a step toward the ball, gets the defender to bite, and it becomes an easy backdoor play.
So that is up to an 8-0 run. Breaker won't shoot it. The feed underneath. The block by Stewart got right in right space.
And this is, to me, where the separation exists between these two teams. Connecticut comes in as the best shot-blocking team in the country. That is 7'1" of wingspan on Brianna Stewart, and she covers an awful lot of mistakes on the defensive end of the floor.
Remember, she was the most outstanding player of last year's Final Four. In the semifinals, she had 29 against Notre Dame.
And the reason they miss Achonwa is their leading, nice pass, nice little high-low. See, Achonwa is not a shot-blocking presence, but Achonwa took a ton of charges, and that translates to possessions for the Irish, very much the way shot-blocking does for UConn.
Bride denied, trying to get inside. Jefferson all over her, picked her up again, and made her travel. And that was Mariah Jefferson forcing the 3rd turnover for the Fighting Irish tonight.
And she is their best perimeter defender and become a major factor. This is the play on the opposite end. A little handoff, and it translates to a high-low, and that's that tandem we were talking about, Dave.
We'll see if Kalina Mosqueda-Lewis gets going to a great 3-point shooter off the fingertips of Bria Hartley, and UConn kicks it over for the 3rd time.
And their designator shooter comes on the floor. This is Michaela Mabry. Allen goes out. She's not as much of an offensive threat. That means McBride will handle. They would like to get Mabry started. She has been quiet in the NCAA tournament.
Now she is their most prolific three-point shooter. She takes about a third of Notre Dame's total threes. It's 42%. McBride with a pull-up pop. No. Off target early. Up ahead. Stewart, nice catch. Able to keep possession for the Huskies. On top 16-8. UConn really looking like they're settling in offensively too. Shot clock down to 12. Dolson wants it. On the freshman to her left. Yes.
See what I mean about the interior play? It's a 12-0 run for UConn. This is danger time for the Irish. They need to start stringing together multiple stops and make sure they keep up on this end of the floor.
Reach in foul by Jefferson. So Mariah Jefferson, the sophomore, commits the personal.
See, unlike Maryland's post, these are offensive-minded players, so they get Stephanie isolated. She's very capable, worked really hard to get that left hand down and efficient, and makes it look easy.
Reimer handing off to McBride. Having trouble getting off a good-looking shot, but the freshman front rims it. And looking a little more nervous than she did in the national semifinal against Maryland. And she had a very solid game. 30 minutes, 9 points, 5 rebounds. Stewart. Selena Mosqueda-Lewis off the window. And the offense is flowing for Gina Auriemma. Timeout Notre Dame. The Huskies building a 28 lead here in the first half.
Who goes into any season saying, yo, we're going to win 40 in a row? I mean, that's unrealistic.
To go 40-0, it would mean a lot. I think that, you know, everyone's always chasing the perfection.
It's exciting for us to kind of have that, hopefully that part in history.
I think we're ready and we're excited to play.
Well, they are 1 win away from 40-0.
Well, I really believe that if he gets this national title, I really should say when, because it is a matter of when for Gina Auriemma. To me, he's the best coach in women's college basketball. I think you have to start putting him in the same category, and we're a long way from that. I know the game's not over. You can see what happened versus Stanford in the first 14 minutes versus their start tonight, just so much better. But you really have to start considering him in the category of Phil Jackson and John Wooden in his respective sport.
Let's check in with Holly Rowe.
During that last timeout, Notre Dame coach Muffet McGraw tried to calm her team. She told Kayla McBride, you're trying to do too much with the ball. Like we saw just there, she throws it away. She also told freshman Taya Reimer down low, take your shot, quit hesitating. She wants them to calm down, run their offense, get our shots.
The bounce here for Jefferson, entry there for Stewart, and right now they can't be stopped.
They better start guarding the post. That's 9 for 10 between Stewart and Dolson, and they've got 18 of their points on the interior.
Stewart has 10. Difficult catch, nicely done by Jewel Lloyd for 2.
I think she's got to be more assertive in this basketball game. Relieve some pressure, make some shots so McBride can settle in a little bit.
Right now it's got to be Notre Dame's worst nightmare, the start that Stewart and Dolson have gotten off to. Exactly what they did not want to have happen, up 22-10.
And the Irish can't handle them in the man, so they go to their zone.
Hartley can't hit the 3. Stewart up for a big rebound.
Wow, how about that board? The reach, the hands, and now the 3 won't go.
Comes to Kalina Mosqueda-Lewis for 2. You know, Dolson got knocked down, and she's in some pain. Stephanie Dolson, the All-American, slow to rise, and needing some help from her teammates.
She makes an extraordinary play on the offensive rebound to just tip it so her team can get a hold of it, but she goes down hard.
Let's see if she stays in the game. Yes, very hard there. She is going to hang in.
That's when you're hoping you have a bigger backyard, cushion that blow, because that was a very difficult fall.
Lloyd blocked by Dolson, and now a whistle. And a personal foul here on Dolson with 10:01 to go in the opening half. 24-10. They're actually going to get Bria Hartley for that personal. So Lloyd to the line, a very good foul shooter at 81%. As a team, Notre Dame hits 76%. Well, Thursday at 5. The Frozen Four getting underway in Philadelphia. Union and Boston College facing off in the national semifinals on ESPN2 and watch ESPN. Lloyd had a career-high 31 in Notre Dame's victory back in January against Maryland, so she can be very explosive.
She is an elite level athlete. I think as much as Muffet addressed the offensive end in the last huddle, according to Holly, they make the changes here. They push up into pressure, take a little bit of time off the clock. They've got to make UConn work on this end.
Dolson back to Mosqueda Lewis. Too strong. Guess who again? Stewart almost followed it in with a left hand. Left wide open on the other side of the iron.
She's going to make 1 or 2 plays a game that only she can make.
McBride with a nice dribble drive and 2 points.
See if that settles her down, Dave.
And she has admitted to nerves in big games. Certainly didn't play that way against Maryland in the semifinal with 28 points. She had 19 in the first half.
2-3 zone by the Irish.
Hartley wants a 3. Not there. She's cold out of the gate. Lloyd with a spin. Tough shot. Tried to follow the miss and draws the foul. So she will be to the line.
Kayla McBride and Jewel Lloyd have got to do the bulk of scoring. And so they run a little screen and roll. The help is not on time. They don't change direction on her. And she goes right to the rim.
Number 2 on Hartley. And Kia Stokes getting set to check in, the 6'3" junior for Gino Auriemma. And that's about where the bench stops.
It's exactly where it stops. Nakia Stokes is an exceptional shot blocker and rebounder. They lose a little bit on the offensive end. She is not the passer or facilitator that Stephanie Dolson is.
It's Dolson who comes down, not Hartley, who has the 2 fouls. 24-15.
So since they made this switch, they've strung together a couple of stops. Let's see if it continues here for Notre Dame. Good communication in that zone by McBride and Allen.
Stewart again. Throws it away. A poor pass. Here's Allen with it. Back up top, Mabry, and misfired there and actually went down in a seated position. No whistle, no foul on that play. As Lloyd went sailing out of bounds as well.
So all they're doing with this pressure, it's a very passive pressure, but what they're doing is they're breaking UConn's rhythm, right? UConn was in a great rhythm to start the game. They were getting everything they wanted, particularly on the interior. Now this has changed the game a little bit.
Notre Dame starting to creep back in it. Mosqueda Lewis. Stokes with that second effort. Helena Mosqueda Lewis down the lane for 2. Nobody picked her up. She just kept on hammering.
Nope. Just comes as the shooter right down the heart of the defense.
So back up to 11 for the Huskies. Mabry out beyond the 3 will drive it. The teardrop. Yes. Well, she can do that too. She had some big games earlier. 18 against Boston College. And there's Kalina on target. Last year, the #1 3-point shooter in America.
And a first-team All-American last season and the most dangerous shooter in the country.
Boy, quickly 9 points for her. And the lead up to 29-17. We have a timeout. UConn trying to go to 40-0. Perfection on the line for Gino Auriemma, who has never lost in a national championship game. And Storrs loving it so far. Half moments ago, Holly Rowe.
Well, Coach, you came out and went to that zone. What effect do you think that had?
Not as much as I would have liked. You know, we really got off to a bad start. Certainly not the way we wanted to. We're not getting a body on Stewart. We got to find her a little bit better. And I mean, she's crashing the glass, and we are not boxing out. So offensively, we got to relax, breathe a little bit, and run some stuff. We're trying to do a little too much with the ball.
Thank you.
Well, as a freshman, Brianna Stewart was the most outstanding player in this exact setting, and she's gotten off to another terrific start. She's 5 for 8 and she's the single most dangerous chess piece on the board. And generally, when you give Gino Auriemma that piece, he's going to win a national title. And you said it, Dave. This is a player who is able to score inside, to score out, to make up for mistakes on the defensive end. And she looks pretty confident and comfortable.
Seems like the bigger the game, the better she's going to be. You mentioned Mabry coming into the ball game, and they need her to hit some threes, missing there. Allen back for Mabry, another one. Got a great look that time and knocked it down.
I really think she's got to be a shot maker tonight. Yes, we've got the tandem of Lloyd and McBride, but Connecticut, generally speaking, does a terrific job with an opponent's top scorers. Somebody else has got to help.
Dolson back in on a high post. Backdoor cut, Kalina Mosqueda-Lewis with a teardrop. Knocked right back to Notre Dame and Lindsey Allen. Cutting into the lead slowly here. Down by 9 in the national title. Allen denied there. Right back out top, and they'll set it up. The Irish in their 4th consecutive Final Four in a championship game for the 3rd time in 4 years. Allen with a misfire. Tipped out of play, will stay on this end. Off of UConn. And McBride will return now for the Irish. Notre Dame missing outstanding production by Natalie Ochanwa in this tournament. She was averaging 21 points, 10 rebounds a game.
To me, she provided so much of the edge that they played with.
Out with that torn ACL, suffered in the Elite 8. But such a heart and soul leader as well. Wright will swing it. Wright again turns and fires. Too strong.
Terrific hustle by Stokes. She had to go guard the high post and then recover to make that steal.
She was strong in the Stanford game. Here's Jefferson. That one missed badly. Although Gino Auriemma wants her to shoot. He likes her shot. And she hits them. Here's McBride. Got it, a three-pointer.
Yeah, but he didn't want her to shoot that shot. And that, to me, is as bad as a turnover. And look at the turnaround. And the Irish crowd is loving it. Because McBride, all of a sudden, is settled into this ball game. And that can be trouble.
She is 4 out of 7.
Yeah.
And it cut the lead to 6. Jefferson, it's Stewart to answer off the feed for Jefferson.
And Dolson set the screen and took a really good shot. She's got the wind knocked out of her right now. She can barely breathe as she's coming up the floor.
Does get back into the play on the defensive end. 31-23. Mabry again. Off the side of the iron, and Dolson's there for the rebound, so she has recovered sufficiently, and she has 5 boards. Jefferson driving with the left hand, lays it in. You see how quick she can be.
See, I like her better in that. In using her speed and her dribble drive ability to get by and get closer to the rim.
Markeisha Wright. Mabry again. They're really trying to get her free for those threes every time. Here's a long distance shot. That rattles in. That's a 2-pointer.
She had been so quiet in the NCAA tournament. And this is a player who had been so productive and so crucial to their success all year. We've been waiting for her to show up.
She has 7 points tonight in the national championship here in the first half. Dolson in close to that right hand off the window.
They're just dominating. Their interior post game, the points in the paint, is just dominant right now.
She has 10 points. Really been Stewart and Dolson. They have been terrific on the interior. That pass somehow got ahead to Stewart. She fired and hit it. Off balance, leaning away from the iron. A broken play, and she made it anyway. And Breanna Stewart has 14.
She's stronger, she's sharper. Look at her. Doesn't get bothered because of the strip steal. Stays with it, plays through contact, and will go to the rim. Nice.
Foul on Markeisha Wright, her first. Stewart also a very good foul shooter, 78%. UConn as a team hits 76%. So does Notre Dame. No accident, great free throw shooting teams win the national championship. Although she misses that.
When Stewart plays at this level, every coach in America just goes, uh-oh, that's trouble.
Been said all over America the last couple of years. Lloyd with a hard drive. And before the shot, she takes a hit with 3:53 to go in the first half, and UConn up by a dozen. Mosqueda Lewis with the personal.
Well, Stephanie Dolson is a serial screener. She is constantly looking for opportunities to get her teammates open. She pays a price on that one as the Irish go right into her chest. But I'll tell you what, put the ball in my hands, all of a sudden I feel a heck of a lot better, especially when I make them. The offense we have here with these two teams. Connecticut does a great job of lifting their offense, so they clear space at the rim, and why not? When you have somebody that's 6'4" with the length and reach of Breanna Stewart, and the skill, mind you, who can get at the rim and be creative and score in all kinds of traffic, what a good idea. And this, to me, is where Natalie Achonwa's presence is really missed. She is an excellent defender and pretty tough.
McBride knocks it in off the inbounds play, and she suddenly has 11. And is heated up after a sketchy start.
On 5 for 8 shooting, and right now they're in a triangle and 2, and they are face guarding Breanna Stewart and this player, Kalina Mosqueda Lewis.
And Kalina has all of a sudden gone hot too. She's made 4 out of 8.
That's exactly the shot the Irish were hoping for.
Avery's open on the wing, knocks it down.
So Jefferson now has done that twice, taken 4 shots, and it's led to baskets on the opposite end. And she's opening a door here for Notre Dame. And a really good job switching defenses by Muffet McGraw to the triangle and 2.
Avery, some shooter, just got knocked down. Kalina Mosqueda Lewis talking about some shooter way downtown.
Well, her defender hit the deck, and she went right at it.
She has 12. So the stars are shining for both teams at the moment. A little brighter for the Huskies. Dolson and Stewart have combined for 24 points on 12 of 15 shooting. Jewel Lloyd, quick step to her right, blocked by Dolson. Stephanie Dolson had a great game against Texas A&M, where she blocked 8 shots, a career high.
This woman is as good a teammate as you can find in college basketball. Comes over, uses both the right and the left as a shot blocker. She is just all about team. What a great personality.
She's also showing you how tough she is. She's been knocked down hard a couple of times. Lloyd with the shot clock at 5. Rebound by Dolson, knocked out of her hands. Breaker got it on the baseline. Nearly threw it away. Jefferson hits the deck. Here's a big scramble, a tie-up. Notre Dame has the arrow.
Does it feel like on the 50-50 balls, Connecticut's faster to it, at least right now?
A step quicker. Yep. And leading by 10. Now, the last time the Huskies lost in last year's Big East championship game to Notre Dame. Off the inbounds. Reimer couldn't get it to go. And it'll stay on this end, they say. With 2:26 remaining in the first half of the national championship. Both teams undefeated.
Look at Mariah Jefferson. She was guarding McBride on her way to inbound the ball.
That's committed defense.
It is.
Cable brings it out. Madison Cable. She can shoot it as well. 47% beyond the 3. McBride got it.
Come on, that is a big-time shot. I mean, Mariah Jefferson's trying to deny the heck out of her.
Mosqueda Lewis. No, Stokes got it. Now, Kalina Mosqueda Lewis has that look in her eye like she can't wait to get the shot in the air. She knows she is cooking. Jefferson lost the dribble. And now we'll set it up for Gina Oriema. 1:47 to go in the first half. Dolson's had a hot first half too. Stokes got it. 2 points for her. Another assist, by the way. That's 5 for Stephanie Dolson.
See what I mean about her teammate skills? Great facilitator, great screener, just does everything she can to put her teammates in a great position.
She also has 6 rebounds and 10 points. Quite a half for the senior in her swan song. Shot clock at 7. Cable just barely got the shot off. Stokes got hit in the face as she knocked it out of play. So a little bit shaken up with 3 on the shot clock now. That's all the time the Fighting Irish have. Trailing by 10. McBride to put it in. Lloyd, yes, hit a three.
Big-time athlete right there. And that's not her specialty. The large percentage of her shots come in the mid-range or at the rim. She does not take a lot of those.
Connecticut is shooting 57% in the half. Notre Dame is showing you why they're undefeated, though. The way they have bounced back.
No question. And they're sticking in this triangle and two, just trying to keep Connecticut off balance.
Great feed for Stokes, and a foul from behind by Reimer. The freshman picks it up.
Well, McBride is likely to be a top 3 pick in the draft. Jefferson's doing a heck of a job. Look at how many defenders come over to help. She steps back and makes a jumper. Girl can play. And then this is the other part of the dynamic tandem. How about that? No time on the clock, defender in your grill, and she still drills it.
McBride with 13. Foul in against Reimer, her first. So Stokes to shoot. She makes 76% at the line. 42 seconds before halftime. And coming up on the Northwestern Mutual halftime report, a first half breakdown and more on the art of perfection, a word we have heard a ton about the last several days.
Dave, I think you could make a case. As good as the 3 first-team All-Americans are on the University of Connecticut, first team this year, Kia Stokes and Mariah Jefferson taking the step forward that they took has been crucial to Connecticut's ability to advance here unbeaten. If they don't take that step, they're not here.
Particularly Jefferson, who's only a sophomore at 5'7", and an honorable mention All-America. Here's Lloyd straight on. Got it, a three-pointer. What a huge shot.
Huge. She gets 1 to go. It's amazing. As Gino uses the timeout, why not use it or lose it here?
22 seconds before the half, and here comes Notre Dame. They have cut the lead to 5.
Well, you have got a player in Jewel Lloyd who is terrific at the rim because of her leaping ability. But look at that picture-perfect jump shot. And South Bend, yes, sir, loving life. Irish eyes are starting to smile if they can just keep that momentum going.
Well, they have trailed by as many as 14. So down the stretch of the first half, they've caught fire. They've hit 5 out of 8 from three-point territory, and that's mainly Mabry coming off the bench.
That's correct. And Lloyd and McBride are going to need some support. And because of the defensive assignments of the interior players, Reimer and Breaker, I don't think they can do that. So I think Mabry is going to have to make shots. Think about this. Lloyd only takes about 17% of her shots from 3. But when you give somebody like her confidence, when you allow her to make her first, look out.
She can hit 39%. She's a very good shooter out there. Stewart had it knocked out of her hands off of Notre Dame with 12.4 on the clock. And up against Reimer, who deflected it. Markeisha Wright will return at 6'2", and the freshman goes to the bench. Stewart to get it in. 10 seconds before halftime. Jefferson, Dolson straight on. Rebound, Polina Mosqueda-Lewis for 2. The heave will be short, and we're at halftime. Connecticut once had a 14-point lead. It's now half that. Let's go to Holly Rowe with Stephanie Dolson.
Well, Stephanie, in the last few games, you guys have gotten off to a slow start. What was different tonight?
I don't know. You know, our energy, we just went out there extremely passionate, and we just wanted to go out, execute our offense, and our shots were knocking in.
You guys went on a big run, but they're hitting threes. What do you have to do better defensively on the perimeter?
We just got to communicate. We got to make sure we go over every single screen, make them back cut because I'm just standing in the lane. And we just got to make sure we put a ton of pressure on all their guards.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Ollie, Stephanie, thank you very much. We're at halftime of the national championship. And UConn and Stephanie Dolson with a 45-38 lead over Notre Dame. Let's join Kevin Negandhi now for the Northwestern Mutual halftime report.
Someone once said the Final Four is UConn's house. Oh yeah, it was this kid.
The Final Four is UConn's house.
Well, she was right. Overall, they have 8 of these, and if they win this year, this guy will surpass her and be one more title away from catching up with this legend. How does he keep doing it? He'll tell you that it's about the players. It doesn't seem fair. Who else has a 6'5" center whose triple-doubles include assists? And we can't forget they have Stewie. No, not that Stewie, this one. Brianna Stewart is an athletic 6'4" with a wingspan like this. Nah, more like this. Then there's Mariah Jefferson, who is fast. No, like this. And if that weren't enough, they are also confident and say stuff like this.
I don't care who I'm playing against. I'm going to come out and I'm going to try to rip whoever's heart out.
So there's that. Gino and the Huskies are rolling toward another national title. He's undefeated in national championship games. So if you buy into that history stuff, this could find itself squarely back in the dog's house.
Perfection.
Having all the
Required or desired elements, qualities, or characteristics.
as good as it is possible.
Possible to be. Free from any flaw or defect in condition or quality. The state of being
Perfect.
Combined, they are 76-0. Kayla McBride trying to keep the Fighting Irish in this game and give them hope in the second half. Coming your way after this.
The NCAA Women's Championship is brought.
Welcome back to the NCAA Women's Championship presented by Capital One. The UConn men won a national championship last night. The UConn women are 20 minutes away from winning this one. Moments ago, Holly Rowe with Kayla McBride of Notre Dame.
Well, Kayla, it seemed like it took a while for your offense to settle down in that first half. What finally got you guys rolling?
Well, I think we just got back to our motion offense. We started sharing the ball, getting normal shots that we normally take. I feel like we were pressing a little bit in the beginning, but we finally settled in.
How did it help for Michaela Mabry to come in and start hitting those threes?
Well, she's doing it all year. I think she's the best sixth man in the country at this point. That's what she does. She shoots, and when she came in and hit those threes, it was big for us.
Thank you.
Yep, thanks.
Well, she really caught fire about 4 or 5 minutes in after kind of a sketchy start, but nobody on the Notre Dame side can slow down the front court for the UConn Huskies.
Well, it was going to be a bigger challenge than Maryland's interior players because they have excellent offensive options at the 3, 4, and 5 positions. And on the other side of things, boy, you could see what the challenge is. You get the defender sealed high and then an easy opportunity at the rim. Dolson gets it sealed, Stewart gets it sealed, and you could make the case that at these 3 positions, they are the 3 best players in the country.
Now, Kalina Mosqueda-Lewis really came on and shot it. 14 points for her. Brianna Stewart with 14. Dolson, 10.6 rebounds, 5 assists, and 3 blocks. UConn begins the second half of the ball. Kalina Mosqueda-Lewis with an easy 2.
They're just going to keep working those 3 positions until the Irish prove that they can stop them. And again, you hate to harp on it, but Natalie Achonwa being out is exactly what they are missing right now. That toughness, that a player who had been to 3 straight Final Fours.
A third foul by Bria Hartley, who as the seniors had a very tough final to this point. 1 for 5, and now the 3 personals. 1 for 5 shooting it. McBride loses the dribble. Reimer trying to get around Stewart. Tied up. Kalina Mosqueda-Lewis just ripped it out of her hands. Jefferson. Dolson off the fake. See if Hartley gets going. The jumper on the way. Can't sink it. She's cold tonight. Once again, Kalina Mosqueda-Lewis crashes and gets it out of there.
When they were struggling against BYU, in fact, they trailed later against BYU 17 minutes in the second half than they ever have in a game this season, and it was exactly that. Her offensive rebounding that got them started.
Dolson wide open, got a great look, but off the back of the iron. Lloyd, great feed for the freshman and 2. Reimer right there, but a terrific pass.
That's exactly what Kara Lawson was talking about at the half. UConn's defense is too good. If you force Notre Dame to play in a half court, it's going to be a long night. If you can get a dynamic athlete out in transition, in space where maybe UConn's not matched up, you're going to be better off.
Reach-in foul stops the clock. They're going to get aerial breaker for the personal.
You have got a rising superstar in the women's game who's got capable handle and a willing passer, delivers it perfectly to Taya Reimer. The more they're in transition, the better off, and now you get some support off the bench with Mabry.
Mabry had a really big first half for the Fighting Irish. She really saved them with 10 points.
She's been a big shot maker all season long.
already better than a season average of 9. Stewart won't shoot it. Shot clock to 10. Hartley through the lane. Got 2.
Gotta believe the first team All-American is going to settle down. Over Bria Hartley's career, she has been a big game player. She struggled in the first. Let's see what happens here in the remainder of this half.
Both teams perfect. It's never happened before in a college basketball championship game. Difficult angle there by Lloyd. Probably forced that shot. Jefferson again. Full throttle. Lost it out of play. A little too quick.
Well, too fast. There was nobody with her. You know, she was running alone.
Gino Auriemma was convinced it was tipped. Turned over 6 times now by the Huskies. They lead it by 9. McBride, long distance. That cupped out. Dolson hammering the glass for another rebound. She's on her way to a double-double. She has 8 rebounds tonight. Elena Mosqueda-Lewis really commanding the ball. Hunting shots. Hartley with step back 3. Dolson another rebound. Mosqueda-Lewis takes a bump, left it short, follows the miss, banks it, no. Free again in the lane. Here come the Fighting Irish now. McBride with a jumper. Can't drain it. And tip to Stewart. Hartley went down. No whistle there. Helena Mosqueda-Lewis. Dolson has it tipped out of play off Notre Dame.
Missed opportunities both ways right there.
Yep.
Couple of chippies missed by Connecticut. Transition where they should have had numbers, and the Irish come away empty.
UConn has never lost in a national championship game. That's the men and the women. Just extraordinary. The men are 4-0. The women are 8-0 in the national title game. Over the top, Stewart, difficult catch to the other side for 2.
She's got exceptional hands. Not sure I've seen a woman who is better at catching the ball in traffic than Breanna Stewart.
16 and counting for the player of the year. McBride, a tough exchange, picked off by Jefferson. She's off to the races. Timeout, Notre Dame. Very happy mom and dad. Brianna's mom and dad, Heather and Brian Stewart, and their daughter has 16.7 rebounds, 3 assists.
She's so low-key, she didn't even tell them she won the AP Player of the Year award. They were upset they didn't go. This is the catch. And how about the elevation? You wouldn't look at Breanna Stewart and think immediately she's an exceptional athlete. But, folks, telling you, at least once or twice a game, she is going to do something. Look at how close to the rim her hand is. She can dunk easily. And how low maintenance is Breanna Stewart? Well, she signed her letter of intent on the hood of a car. Everything understated, as exceptional as they have been over the course of the years.
Now, she was in the car with her dad, and he said, "Isn't your letter of intent due today?" They stopped and signed it on the hood of the car and sent it in. Lloyd, another one. Difficult shot, off balance and off the backboard.
I love the story. In this day and age where everybody's making their picks on ESPNU and playing with the hats, how about we just sign the letter of intent and send it in?
Good old-fashioned stamp. Works just fine.
I'm sure our bosses appreciate me saying
right.
that.
Yeah, we'll be back next year. Dolson swinging to her right. And 2 more.
They haven't had an answer all night long. Yeah, shake your head like Michael Jordan did. They haven't had an answer for you, Stephanie. They can't guard you.
8-0 run in the last 2.5 minutes. Jefferson went for the theft, nearly got it. McBride with a leaner, tough shot.
She is good. You know, we were talking about Alyssa Thomas being a top 5 draft pick. If all these WNBA coaches are watching the shot making of Kayla McBride, I wouldn't let her get past 3.
Now you think she's bumping up?
No question.
And she's had that kind of tournament. 28 in the national semifinal. Hartley's open and off target. She's ice cold tonight. Getting another good look though. Won't take the shot there after the feed from Dolson. Here's Stewart again. 2 more for the player of the year. 18 for her, and Buffett does not have an answer.
How pretty is that offense? Floor is space, movement with the ball, player movement. That's just as good as you could do it.
Now, both of the teams have been very open, and certainly the head coaches have, about their dislike for one another. Allen with a misfire. Luckily, it gets settled on the court. So far, the Huskies have certainly been the better team. Hartley again, an air ball this time. Saved by Stewart, though.
She's out of sorts, Bria Hartley.
And Stewart is out of sight.
Yeah.
This is like her own playground out here. They're going to leave Hartley alone. Jefferson's wide open. Can't drill it. Rebound comes to Dolson. Up for two. And a foul. And now they've opened up a 17-point lead.
The struggles of the guards has not shaken UConn at all. Hartley and Jefferson have not been great offensively, but boy, has everybody else been good, starting with the best player in the country, Brianna Stewart. Nice cut. What a surprise. Stephanie Dolson, another assist. She's got 14 and 11. How about the hustle? Yes, we can do that too. Stephanie Dolson, offensive rebound, play through the contact. Huskies rolling.
UConn leads Notre Dame thanks to the play of Stephanie Dolson, their senior center. Nobody has more fun than Stephanie Dolson on and off the court. She's a joy to watch, and here's her giving President Obama bunny ears. She's challenged him to a dance-off if they win and go back to the White House. But Gino Auriemma told us that when he was recruiting her, a lot of people around the country said, why is he recruiting this kid? She was chubby, she was slow, and he said, I was at an AAU tournament, and every time the kid get knocked down, she'd be on the floor, she would pop right back up and run as hard as she could to the other end of the floor. That's why he signed Stephanie Dolson. And he said, if I could coach 10 Stephanie Dolsons every year, I would coach forever.
Well, he's coached at Final Four appearances. She's won 1 national championship. He also said the first time I saw her play, great hands. Great hands.
Well, think about her first game as a freshman against Baylor. I mean, it was a huge struggle. She barely played.
McBride lifts, not there. Helena Mosqueda-Lewis having a great game. Fires that one up for Hartley. The entire front court for UConn has been spectacular.
As I said, they have played through the struggles on the offensive end of their guards. But make no mistake, Mariah Jefferson has been heard from on the defensive end. That kid has worked so hard.
Stewart, no. Rebound free, and it comes out high for Notre Dame and Lindsey Allen. She'll run the offense now, trying to creep back in. If they let her through, she still couldn't hit the layup. And Jefferson got fouled going up for the rebound. Foul against the Irish. With 13:23 to go. And an 18-point lead.
Well, you're trying to get out in transition and make plays. A missed chippy. And Mariah Jefferson does a great job running the floor. Too much contact by Marquisha Wright.
Her foul. Some pressure in the backcourt. Nearly stolen away in a foul here.
I think they're just going to call it out of bounds off Allen.
Allen had it knocked away, indeed, just deflected. So off of Lindsey Allen. Hartley high on the wing.
And the Irish in their zone.
Little bump, Helena Mosqueda-Lewis. Doesn't matter at all. I mean, you can almost knock her to the floor. She's going to hit that shot.
Nothing the Irish has done defensively has fazed them in this half.
The lead balloons to 20. Biggest lead of the ball game. McBride threading through. Charge. Offensive foul on Kayla McBride.
So it was the right read against the initial defender for Muffet McGraw, right? You're telling your kids if you're getting denied, you're going to go back door. But you've got to be aware of the help rotation. Look at 2 players come over in assistance. The shot blocker, Stephanie Dolson, and the wing, Helena Mosqueda-Lewis.
You know, they come over and do this. They help all the time, but they do not foul. They have committed the fewest fouls in Division I.
Gino has a very simple philosophy. That's a travel.
Well, the sacred grounds of Augusta serve as the backdrop for this on ESPN. National championship from Nashville, Tennessee. Doris Burke, Dave O'Brien, Holly Rowe. UConn being UConn here with about 12 minutes left. And again, thrown out of play by Notre Dame. Are you seeing signs now that the Fighting Irish are beginning to come apart?
Yeah, they're coming apart. And listen, the difference between these two teams, one, it comes on the defensive end of the floor. Connecticut has been the best defensive team, #1 in field goal percentage defense all year.
Stolen right back by Jefferson. Stewart, one dribble down, and she's going to draw the foul. She'll be at the line.
And one of the things Gino talks about quite often And he preaches it to his kids every day in practice. We take away threes, we don't give up second shots, and no free throws. And if you do those three things, you're going to give yourself a chance to win.
And he is on the edge of winning a 9th national championship. Right now, the 8th, co-held with the great Pat Summitt of Tennessee. Gino has never lost in a national championship. A perfect 8-0, just an extraordinary record of success. He said it would mean a lot more if it happened that he won 9 if he were still coaching against Pat Summitt.
Sure it would. Of course it would. You want to coach against the best.
Which is not to say it's not terribly meaningful. Tapped away by Jefferson. McBride comes over. She missed the bunny. Took her eye off the rim with McBride coming over defensively. Here's Mabry's three. That bangs away, and Hartley's there. 63-42 with 11:38 to go.
And even if he gets this, make no mistake, Pat Summitt will still stand alone. There's not a female athlete in the country that doesn't owe Pat Summitt a debt of gratitude, because she changed the way people think about women. Women as competitors specifically.
A tie-up. Notre Dame has the arrow, so they will have possession with 11:25 remaining. Notre Dame has scored only 4 points here in the second half. And when we come back, Holly Rowe, a conversation with Gino Auriemma, closing in on title number 9. One of the 2 UConn bands have been working overtime in national championships lately. UConn with a big lead here. Let's go to Auriemma.
Well, Coach Auriemma, what went through your mind in the first few minutes of this game when Stewie's making shots, Kalina's making shots?
Well, we felt like we would be able to score if we just kept the ball moving and spread them out a little bit. You know, we have a lot of offensive weapons. Sometimes we don't take advantage of all of them, but the key to any game is getting off to a good start, especially this particular game, a championship game. It just kind of gives you the confidence to keep pushing forward.
You're 11 and 25 seconds from history, Coach. What are the details you're going to ask your team to focus on in this stretch?
The next 4 minutes between now and the next TV timeout, that's about as far as we're thinking right now.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Well, his attention to detail is legendary. The first half, concentrating on those initial moments, they got off to a 22-8 start. The second half, an 18-4 start.
This is the first time in the NCAA tournament, at least in the last 3 rounds, that they did that on the offensive end. Their defense anchored them and got them to this position.
McBride working on the shorter Jefferson, the step back. They get a second effort here thanks to Madison Cable. Under 11 to go in a national championship. UConn looking for sweep of the men's and women's titles. Here's Cable. That went into the corner, tried to save it around the back, but saved it right to Dolson. Of course, it's been done before. UConn did it in 2004, winning both.
Rebecca Okafor leading the men, Diana Taurasi leading the women.
What an amazing job done by Coach Ali and the men. His first NCAA tournament, he wins the whole thing.
Please, as good a man as there is in college basketball.
Notre Dame tips it out, 10:24 to go. Shot clock's at 6 here.
Imagine how gracefully Kevin Ollie replaces the legend Jim Calhoun. Very few guys have 3 national titles. You got to step in and replace him, and he's your mentor.
Leaner there by Hartley. She fires it out of play with shot clock winding down. Stokes is going to come back on. It's been a very, very hard night for Hartley.
Well, they're going to play big. You come in with Kia Stokes.
Hartley 2 for 10 shooting.
So your dominant interior just got a little bit bigger.
Well, this match is the biggest lead so far for UConn tonight at 21. Stokes comes in immediately, grabs a rebound and a foul on the play. And that'll go against Notre Dame with 10:07 on the clock. They'll get aerial breaker for that one, her 3rd.
How about this young woman? She goes home this summer, Kia Stokes, and hears all kinds of chirping from friends and people in Iowa. Oh, you're not good enough to play. You're not good enough to do this and that. You should transfer. Kid sticks with it and becomes a major factor off the bench for this team. Especially
rebounding, and no basket there. It's going to be a foul. So erase that hoop by Stewart. That's about the only way to stop her tonight.
Yes, illegal screen by Kalina Mosqueda-Lewis.
It'll be her second.
She's rubbing that elbow, remember.
It's the elbow that she injured against Stanford very early in the season in November. And she missed about 5 weeks. She also missed several games because of mono. Breaker in the lane, hits it. A rare, easy basket for Notre Dame.
Maybe Kalina Mosqueda-Lewis is rubbing that elbow in anticipation of a shot on this end.
I wouldn't be surprised. She shot the ball very, very well tonight, 8 out of 16. Stewart, she's been a little quiet the last few minutes. Otherwise, a very noisy championship for her. Dolson can't hit it. Stokes with another big rebound and a foul here against the Irish.
Offensive rebounds really piling up right now for Connecticut. And they just pursue the basketball. They've got their big lineup. So you've got size all over the floor. You end up with McBride trying to deal with Kia Stokes. She's given up several inches.
McBride second.
Yeah, she commits a foul.
So Stokes to shoot. You talked about the difference that she made coming off the bench. Had some big games. 18 rebounds against Temple, 13 against Oregon. She had 8 double-figure rebounding games, and that was really her role.
Yeah, she's been in Gino Auriemma's doghouse because he values practice performance as much as he does game performance. So if you're not going all out and practicing at 100%, he's not going to play you. And her motor wasn't up to his standards.
Approaching 9 minutes left here. And thrown away by Notre Dame. And they just don't have the time to do that. Not with a score like this, 64-44.
Let's remember the Muppets team in all 5 games of the NCAA tournament put 84 points on the board. And look at what the Huskies defense and their mistakes have done.
Probably the thing that should be talked about a lot more for Gino Auriemma's team, their defense, holding opponents to 31% shooting and 47 points a game, does not get talked about enough because of all the offensive stars like Breanna Stewart and Stephanie Dolson and Kalina Mosqueda-Lewis. That one won't roll in for Stokes.
I think it's why they won 8 championships and why they're looking like they're going to walk out of here with number 9.
Lloyd with the right-hand shot. That won't drop. Stewart went to save it. It is deflected off of Notre Dame. Stewart's so active on the loose ball. She has saved several tonight.
Well, she also had to learn to play at the pace that Chris Daly and Gino Auriemma wanted her to play at. You know, she's so gifted. In high school, you dominate. They want her constantly moving.
Hartley will be brought back on in a moment by Gino Auriemma. Huskies 37-4 in the NCAA tournament when playing as the defending national champ. McBride wants to attack into the lane and draws the foul. McBride leading the way for the Irish with 15. Well, make sure you catch the Frozen Four's second semifinal when North Dakota and Minnesota meet in Philadelphia Thursday at 8:30 Eastern on ESPN2. And you can follow every championship at NCAA.com, the official online home for all 89 NCAA championships. Foul win against Stephanie Dolson, her second. And number 1 for McBride, who makes 88%.
It's the only time she's been able to really get going here. Jefferson has done an extraordinary job on her defensively. She'll take a break, but only time McBride has really gotten loose and uncontested for looks like this or getting herself to the free throw line is out in transition.
It's an outside shot that 3 different Huskies could wind up with a double-double in this game. Stolen away by Cable. She jumps out in front. And a foul by Stewart as she went for the block. 7:59 remaining. Number 1 on Stewart. UConn, as we take a timeout, looking very comfortable in the national title game. The men win the national championship. And now doing it with the women. In 2004, they made history, winning both the men's and women's titles. They defeated Georgia Tech for the 2nd title in school history. The women, led by Diana Taurasi, defeated Tennessee 70-61 for their 3rd consecutive title and number 5 overall.
How about the American Conference could have the national champion in both men's and women's college basketball
in year 1.
In year 1.
Cable makes the pair. Skylar Diggins, former Notre Dame star, hoping for a miracle run here with 8 minutes to go.
She just said one stop. It begins with one stop.
Jefferson's really had a fine floor game. Hartley back on the court. She missed Dolson in the middle of the lane. Tipped into the corner here from Mosqueda Lewis, and it's going to be a foul on her.
So that's the one stop. They were in the triangle in 2, and they get what they want. A mistake by UConn.
That's her third. Let's go back to Holly Rowe.
Well, Gino Auriemma was able to speak with the men's coach, Kevin Ollie, last night, and he said, I just hope we can be half as good as you were in beating Kentucky, and they have been so far. Stephanie Dolson also said she got some text messages from some of the guys. Niles Giffard and Shabazz Napier both got in contact with them. And she said it really helps when we feed off of each other. The men have looked up to the women for a long time, and it's fun that they can both be good in the same year.
Now tossed out by Mabry here. Rebecca Lobo will tell you that when she won national championship, that one of the great supporters from the men's team was Ray Allen.
Yes. In fact, the first person to greet Gino Auriemma inside of their building was Ray Allen.
Jefferson using the screen by Mosqueda Lewis. Hartley undaunted. Still chilly though.
Boy, those two guards have really struggled shooting it.
Great ball movement off the loose ball and up and in for Dolson. So Notre Dame gives it up after winning the rebound. 17 for Stephanie Dolson.
You're talking about the floor game of Jefferson. Look at the ball pressure she's applying to McBride.
Here's Mabry off the front of the iron. Stephanie Dolson having a huge game. 14 rebounds, 17 points. She also has 6 assists. And maybe on her way to another honor here on this court tonight. Jefferson. Helena Mosqueda Lewis. Nice stop there by the freshman. Reimer came over to defend. Hartley's open. Shot clock at 2. She threads her way in. Denied. It was a clean block. And it's a traveling violation. Nearly a shot clock violation, too.
Yeah, all the hustle plays, the 50-50 balls, a missed jumper by Bria Hartley, been a real struggle. But the water bug, Mariah Jefferson, gets the steal, makes the extra pass, and has played extraordinary defense all night long.
Time beginning to run out on the Fighting Irish, who are a perfect 37-0. Boyd running right into Dolson.
We're letting them play, and I like it.
10 to shoot. McBride bottled up. Got it free to Cable in the lane. Knocked away. It'll go the other way. It'll be UConn ball.
Because I like the freedom of movement rules in college basketball. I do think there has to be a greater measure of common sense on both the men's and women's side. You know, when the ball is 35, 40 feet from the basket and there is the minutest of contact, while it may by law be a foul, Dave, I don't necessarily think you got to blow every whistle out there.
Gino Auriemma takes a timeout here with 5:38 remaining. A closer look at Gino Auriemma through the years. Now 29 seasons. He grew up in Italy. Got his first coaching job as an assistant at St. Joe's. Look at that haircut. 1978-79. That was big then. Named the UConn head coach in '85. They took a chance on him. And an incredible record in national championship games. 8-0. Now, Pat Summitt coached in 13 national championships. John Wooden never lost one either. He went 10-0. Pat Summitt 8-5.
They're just extraordinary legacies for all three. But keep in mind how little was at the University of Connecticut. There's Gino's mom.
I mean, the roof was leaking, and there was a track around the court.
They had one rotary phone, he and associate head coach Chris Daly, to do their recruiting with when they started.
Now packed houses, national championships, and Hartley hits. Very cold night for her, but she has 7. And the Huskies are on their way, 69-47. They have shot the ball exceptionally well all night. Denied defense there by Hartley to knock that one free.
See, she hasn't let her lack of making shots affect her effort on the defensive end.
She's 3 for 13. Mosqueda Lewis 8 for 17. Stewart 9 for 13. Dolson 8 for 12. Jefferson on the baseline. Here's Hartley. Sailed that one. Tipped out high. Controlled by Jefferson. That was Dolson getting a hand on it.
How fast is Jefferson?
Trying to beat the shot clock. Did get it up on the iron. And now a new shot clock for Connecticut. So even with the big lead here, as Jefferson is hurt, they continue to play very, very hard. But Mariah Jefferson in pain and clutching at that right knee and now down right in front of her bench. Looks like it may be a cramp. About 4.5 to play. Driving that lane, attempting to beat the shot clock, and then very off balance there, hit the floor.
But didn't look like she turned either an ankle or a knee, so it does, you're right. And the way she's stretching her out, it does look like it is in fact a cramp. So they go back to the big lineup, just slides Hartley over to the one, and they play bigger.
6 assists, 5 rebounds for Mariah, who's only 5'7". Dolson on a high post. Hartley taking on McBride. She'll come back out with a shot clock down to 10 for UConn. Elena Mosqueda-Lewis fires. Stokes with another rebound. One offensive board after another, but she throws it away. Lloyd on Hartley. No. Jewel Lloyd's had a very up and down game for the Irish, and they needed a lot more.
Well, she looks so comfortable all season long, stepping into the lead along with Kayla McBride. Not so tonight.
Hartley draws the foul with 3:46 remaining. UConn piling up the points. Got off to a great start, and they've kept on rolling here in the second half. Closing in on a 9th national championship.
Connecticut has won the national championship again.
To be put in the same light as those other teams, it would be a huge honor for us.
I try as hard as anybody that's ever lived to try to have that perfect season.
7th undefeated regular season in school history.
To be undefeated and win a national championship, it just adds to the excitement.
If we play our A game, nobody's going to beat us.
They have brought the A game tonight here in Nashville, Tennessee, with a 69-47 lead. Stephanie Dolson certainly has 17 points, 15 rebounds, and 7 assists.
Keep in mind, every game that's played for this team, every single game is the Super Bowl for every team they face.
Well, Gino Auriemma made, I think, a fascinating statement. He's made many of them in the last 48 hours, but he posed that question: is UConn the new Tennessee and Notre Dame the new Connecticut?
Not yet.
I think the score would indicate that is right on. Tough drive there on the baseline, and well done by Jewel Lloyd, but again, only her 4th make of the night. 4 out of 15. Just has not been enough for the star for the Fighting Irish. Stewart off to Jefferson. She's back from cramping up moments ago. Shot clock to 5. Kalina Mosqueda-Lewis, no. Jefferson hustling for the rebound. But out it goes. Out she went right into her own bench.
Still looks like she's cramped, but just slightly. Look at her gait, a little bit different than it typically is. And why not? That young woman has worked so hard all night long on the defensive end of the floor, running her team.
Reimer getting bottled up in the lane. Back out from McBride, casting a long one, and she hits a 3. And she's had a very representative game at 19.
No question about it. But you know what Mariah Jefferson has done? She's made a top 3 pick good pass. She's made a top 3 pick work for every basket she has gotten. And that's all you can ask as Stewie gets another one.
Brianna Stewart with 21 points. Also strong on the glass with 9 rebounds and 4 assists. They give into the middle of the lane, and right now with Reimer making the basket, Notre Dame just content to trade hoops.
Yeah, we were saying all year long that Notre Dame and Connecticut were far and away the best teams in the country, and there was a wide margin between them. Well, there's a wide margin between 1 and 2, obviously.
Big smile from the senior Hartley. Haven't seen many of those from her tonight. But she does have 12 points. And under 2 minutes remaining, McBride shovels it up there. 4 times now, Connecticut has completed an undefeated season as national champ. They're about to do it again in 95, 2002, 2009, and 2010. And here in 2014, a minute 51 away from doing it again.
And I would have to disagree with Muffet on one thing, because I think she made a veiled reference to Gino Auriemma in a comment, and Kevin Nagandi touched on this in the pregame when she said yesterday there's a lot of rhetoric back and forth, and she said that when we lost Pat Summitt, we lost class at the top of the game, and I would disagree. I would say Gino Auriemma conducts himself with class. Does he poke and does he prod? You bet he does. No question. There's gamesmanship. These two Philly people are great competitors and great coaches, but I happen to think he does it with a tremendous amount of class.
Well, I would agree wholeheartedly, especially with the dealings, and you and I have dealt with him more than anybody on the national network level, certainly over the years, time and time again, covering all of his games. And he's been nothing but an immensely charming individual and a spectacular coach.
You want to know why the University of Connecticut is about to step into air that only they will occupy in women's college basketball? I would tell every coach in the country to go watch them practice on a daily basis, because they win championships because of the small habits they establish every single day. Coaches, if you want your team to look like UConn, I'd go to Storrs and take a visit.
Storrs is the college basketball center of the universe for men and women. The entry pat knocked away by Lloyd. A block there and a Stewart shot as she goes skipping out of play. And there's a closer look at Storrs, and that is championship city right there. Gamble Pavilion ready to party again for the second straight night. Just incredible.
It's going to be a good time in town.
Shot clock to 2. Dolson fires it, got it off in time, but could not hit the shot. 1:14 to go. UConn in command, as they are time and time again in national championships. McBride, Kayla McBride really had a fine game in what will be a loss here. Closing out a great career, ACC Player of the Year, unanimous All-ACC first team, AP All-American.
And she'll be I cannot believe anyone's going to let her get by the top 3 picks in the draft. As you see Gino and Stephanie, a nice moment shared between a player that he has adored.
Coming out of the game for the last time in a UConn uniform, 17 points, 16 rebounds, 7 assists. That was a tour de force performance by Stephanie Dolson.
Just as good a kid and as good a teammate as there is in college basketball. And this is how you want your seniors to go out, and she is overcome.
Oh, what a wonderful moment there. You saw her hug Chris Daly, the great assistant, longtime assistant to Gino. Said such a hand in building this program. Rhea Hartley would be next, the 5'8" senior, the WBCA All-American. 1 minute to go, Stokes at the line. And Hartley is coming out for the last time for Gino. She had a tough night in many respects, 4 for 15, but she goes out a champion again. 11 points in the second half. So the final seconds, Notre Dame with a bucket on the other end. Scored by Hannah Huffman coming off the bench. And don't forget about the end of Ochanwa's career as well. So unfortunate that she tore that ACL in the Elite Eight and could not help tonight. You wonder how much this game might have been different, at least in terms of the competitive nature of it.
I think so. I think UConn was going to win this matchup no matter what. But the way they dominated on the interior 3-4-5, I think it would have been more competitive with her.
Well, Breanna Stewart, the player of the year, her mom and dad delighted by the effort as she comes out. 21 points, 9 rebounds. She loves the big stage.
She said she came to UConn to win 4 national championships. She's 2 for 2.
And the terrifying thing for her opponent, she has 2 years left.
And she's going to get better.
What she did between her freshman and sophomore year. Can't wait to see her as a junior. Half a minute to play here in Nashville, Tennessee. The pursuit of perfection. We knew it would leave one team at the end of the night undefeated, and that is again going to be the UConn Huskies, who will be 40-0 in about 20 seconds. They will equal Brittany Griner's Baylor team that went 40-0 a couple of years ago. But for Gino Auriemma, he's about to win a 9th national championship. 17 seconds away from history. McBride hits the bench. Her parents in tears, but certainly her mom is. She finishes with 21. Picked off by Huffman. Can't lay that one in. A loose ball in the corner. 10 seconds to go. It's another perfect ending for UConn. The 2014 national champions for an unprecedented 9th time. UConn sweeps the men's and women's finals for the 2nd time. And once again, Storrs, Connecticut is the center of the college basketball universe. UConn finishes a perfect 40-0. Their pursuit of perfection is complete.
Complete domination. They got off to the start they hadn't been able to in the last 3 games. But when the stage was the brightest and the stakes were the highest, the Huskies had everything they needed.
79-58, the final score. They got out in front 22-8 in the initial minutes of the game. Notre Dame was able to cut it, but never really got close. And then Muffin McGraw could not hold them back in the second half. They got out of the second half game 18-4, and this game was over.
The difference between these two teams, the defensive end of the floor.
Gino Auriemma has broken the tie with Pat Summitt. He now has 9, and he's joined by Holly Rowe.
Well, Coach Auriemma, what is it that you're able to do to make something so very difficult look so easy year after year?
I don't know, Holly. I wish I could answer that question. I'm probably one of the luckiest people in the coaching profession because I get to coach players like Stephanie and Bria. Yeah, I get to coach guys like that, and that's why we can do what we do.
You said the reason you coach is you see your seniors go out and win their last game. So what is that feeling like right now?
It's overwhelming. Those 2 kids are 2 of the most unbelievable kids I've ever been around in my life. And to see their faces when they walked off the court. I don't usually get this emotional, but this one got to me.
Thank you, Coach.
Thanks, Howard.
But certainly another side of Gino Auriemma, and we know him to be a very emotional man and a guy who can be deeply touched. But he's talking about his seniors and the fact that he'll never coach them again, and it means the world to him.
If you make your kids believe that you are most and first concerned about who they are as people before players, this is the kind of relationships you're capable of, and the greatness can translate between the lines, and it has for this program.
I think you're absolutely right. There's nothing but class at the top of women's college basketball today. Let's go to Holly with Stephanie Dolson.
Stephanie, when was the moment in this game when you started to feel like it was yours?
Right in the beginning, that opening tap. Right when we came out, I knew our team had such confidence when we came out of this game, and we went into it so excited, so pumped. So everyone said we had a lot of pressure on our back, but we didn't. We went in there having fun. We were loose. We played great, and you know, we knew right in the beginning.
You came out of the game and you were in tears hugging all of your coaches. What has it meant to you to be a UConn Husky?
Well, first of all, I'm an emotional person. I like to cry. But it's meant the world to me. It has meant so much. You know, there's just been a second family for me, and ever since I was a freshman, they took me in, and you know, we've just grown as a group, and I just love these guys.
Men and women national champs. What does that mean?
Absolutely, it means the world shabazz. Guys, we went out with a bang. Let's do it.
Thank you, Dave. Back to you.
Thank you.
All right, Holly. Thank you very much. We take a look now at tonight's Capital One Cup impact performance. Stephanie Dolson all over the stat sheet.
Well, for a player who's been as good a teammate as you can have, what a way for her to go out. She was a dominant scorer, a dominant rebounder, a dominant defender, and a dominant facilitator. You can't do it any better, Stephanie Dolson. Enjoy your teammates. You put in the work, and it has paid dividends. A shot block, send it back, Stephanie, twice on the pipes. Yes, you can pass it too. You hit Stewart at the rim. This is as good a character as there is in women's college basketball.
UConn so dominating on the boards tonight, 54-31 over Notre Dame. And what a touching moment here. Gino hugging his mom. What a wonderful sight here. For the 9th time, he celebrates a national championship with his family and his UConn family. An unprecedented achievement. Well, the 2014 NCAA Women's Basketball Champion is UConn. Stay tuned for the trophy presentation and plenty more coverage coming up next on SportsCenter. Now it's time for SportsCenter.
I think is kind of the perfect player for Connecticut.
Yeah, you know, these seniors, I think, you look at the mark that they leave, and it's just been about winning. And in Bria Hartley and Stephanie Dolson, what I've been most impressed about in their career is the fact that they were willing to do whatever it took to win. If they needed to call out a teammate, if they needed to set screens, they were just winners. And that's what Gino Auriemma wants. That's the type of player he wants, and he had both of them in the same class.
5 undefeated teams. I mean, is this the best one, Rebecca?
I think it's in the
Women's Basketball Committee, Carolyn Henry.
Thanks, Holly. First of all, congratulations to both teams for outstanding seasons and an outstanding championship tournament. And to your 2014 NCAA Division I Women's Basketball Tournament champions, congratulations to the University of Connecticut Huskies.
Well, Coach Auriemma, you've used your program and where you live as rare air. What was it that this team did to stay in the rare air this season?
Well, you know, you just don't know how college kids are going to play and on the biggest stage. You don't know how the pressure of the game or the hype of this particular game with 2 undefeated teams. And you just cross your fingers and hope that they play up to their ability. So I couldn't be more proud of what we did and the way we played the entire 40 minutes. We beat a great team tonight. Notre Dame is a great team. And for them to have the kind of season that they had and then to lose their starting center and to come here and do what they did, I just can't say enough about their players, their coaching staff, and it took everything that we had. We knew it was going to be a tough game, and we knew that if we played great, that we would have a chance to win, and we played better than I thought we were going to play.
There was a minute left in this game and something happened out on the court and you were furious, screaming at your players despite the big lead. What is it about your standard of excellence that's different than everyone else's?
I don't think it's anything different than anyone else. Obviously we have some great players and great kids, but the whole thing is I never want my players to look bad. So when they do dumb stuff out on the floor, I feel bad for them. So when they do like really dumb stuff, and I don't want people sitting in the stands going, I thought that kid was really good. So I always want them to look their best and play their best and have people appreciate them for their hard work. So I don't even get mad. I just get so frustrated that I know they're so much better than that. But you know, it's part of it's part of our charm at Connecticut, the way we love each other.
Well, Coach, with this win tonight, you have moved into exclusive territory, passing the great Pat Summitt for 9 national championships. The players have changed, but you and some of the staff has stayed the same. What is it that has allowed you to make history?
Well, you know, first of all, I never set out to do any of this in terms of what our record is now. You know, certainly when I was an assistant at Virginia, I never dreamed that I would say, wow, you know, someday I'm going to be mentioned, you know, with Pat Summitt. You know, back at that time, I just got into it to coach because I thought I could be pretty good at it. And we're able, God, we're so fortunate to work at UConn because from our board of trustees to our president, Susan Herbst, our athletic director, Ward Manuel, and to everybody, every single person that works at UConn, we work at this every day, 365 days a year, to win a national championship. And I couldn't be more proud right now. After what happened last night with our guys, I couldn't be more proud to be part of UConn basketball.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And now we would like to present the most outstanding player of this women's national championship game, Breanna Stewart. So Breanna, for the second straight year, you're the most outstanding player. You were a freshman then, you're a sophomore now. What is it that has allowed you to excel like this?
I think my teammates and my coaches are always pushing me to work hard, and you know, this season we wanted to chase perfection, and we did that tonight.
You started out a little slow in your last 3 games, but tonight you hit your first shot. You just came out so strong. Why were you so different?
I think just really being aggressive, getting an easy shot at the basket, and you know, starting your game that way is a lot easier, and it helps you get into a good flow of things.
Coach Ariema said one of the things he's done well is to help convince you guys that the pressure of perfection is fun. What has he done to convince you that that pressure is great?
You know, it's been fun. I think this whole season has been fun, and you know, when you're winning, you're always having fun, and it's better than losing. And I think that you know, we're happy to be where we are right now.
Thank you. And Stephanie Dolson, one quick question for you. I know that you had something you wanted to say to the President of the United States.
Yes, first of all, President Obama, we're back. Secondly, he better get his dance moves on point. That's it. Oh, Jimmy Fallon, please, hit me up.
Thank you very much. I present your 2014 national champions, the Huskies.
The Music City is UConn.
I'm up at 37-1, but I know the one really hurts. What did you say to your team?
You know, just we have to remember what a great season this was. Connecticut was just a better team. The best team won today. You know, I thought we fought, but we were out of our rhythm a little bit, and they played so well. You know, they looked comfortable, and we looked a little nervous at the start, but I'm just proud of this team for what they've accomplished this year.
You guys trailed by 14 early, but then cut into that lead, and it was only 7 at halftime. What happened in the second half when it sort of got away?
Yeah, they didn't sub. I thought that was the difference. Their 5 were really good, and if we thought if we could have them go to their bench, we'd have a chance, and that's when we made our run. Then they didn't sub for the next 10 minutes, and that was pretty much the game.
Love it. Thanks.
You bet.
Number 9, it's different. It's completely your own. And after the game, you were a little bit emotional.
Yeah, the numbers, I've always said this, the numbers aren't nearly as important as the people attached to those numbers. I would trade 6 or 7 of those championships to have the same feeling that I had when Stephanie Dolson came off the floor and when Bria Hartley came off the floor. I've had some great players and I've been emotional, but for some reason that one really, really got to me. I'm generally not like that on the sideline, but for some reason these 2 kids have had such an impact on me as people and as players that I think back to tonight, that's what I'm going to think about.
How would you describe that feeling?
You know, they were thrown into it as freshmen. They're one of the few kids that right from freshman year, they had to get it done. They came in the middle of a 78-game winning streak. And here they are in the starting lineup. And it's like, all right, go and don't screw this up. And from that day to today, they have absolutely done every single positively everything that you could possibly do. And everything's been for our team. There's not a selfish bone in either one of these kids' bodies. And I'll never, ever, ever forget them.
But, you know, 9-0 in national championship games, and you even said on the podium that your team's performance kind of surprised you a little bit, exceeded your expectations. What is it about your program that allows you to play your best games in the biggest moments?
You know, Kara, I wish I had the formula for that, but we try to make sure that, well, generally we come here with the best team. So if you're going to come here with the best team, then all you have to do is play your A game, and there's no pressure on you. You know, so we try to diffuse the pressure by saying we're the best team. And all we have to do is play the way we've played all year long, and it's going to be good enough. As opposed to coming here and going, oh, my God. You know, it's like you feel like you can't do it, that there's doubts. So you try to eliminate the doubts. And today I had some doubts. I had some doubts because of the way we've been shooting the ball. I had some doubts because our offense, which has been so good all year long, kind of disappeared when we went to Lincoln. And I knew they're playing a team like Notre Dame that can score points so easily that if our offense wasn't there, this was not going to, it wasn't going to meant to happen.
When we talk to you about championship teams of the past, there's always moments from a season or moments from the championship game that you like to talk about with that team. What would those moments be from this team or this championship game?
Well, for this particular team, the one thing I'm going to really kind of focus in on is kind of the way the season went for Kalina Mosqueda-Lewis. You know, that so many high hopes for her, and then the injury, then the mono, then the other injury. And the way she performed in the Big East tournament, the NCAA tournament, that was really gratifying. That performance by Kalina kind of made up for everything that happened the previous, 5 months. And that's the way you want kids to respond to adversity. We had some adversity as a team, but she had a lot of adversity as a player, and I love the way she responded.
You're fully aware of the history of the game. We got a graphic here, Gino. I want you to take a look at it, and it puts you in elite company when you talk about the record in championship games. The great Pat Summitt, 8-5, 4 of those losses to you in the title game. You're 9-0, and then John Wooden. John Wooden is 10-0. When you see that graphic, what goes through your mind?
I don't know. I really like to think that, as I said, that when you're at Connecticut, you come to Connecticut for the big moments. And you try to instill that in your players immediately from the time they get there, so that they want the big moments, they want the spotlight, they want the pressure games, they want when it's you win a national championship or it's a lost season. That's the way they treat themselves. And now when you come to this game, we're not going to get this far and then lose. So it's something that we try to instill in every one of our players. And 9-0, yeah, like probably 8 of those times we had the best team. Last year was probably the only time we showed up where maybe we didn't have the best team. So supposed to win. That's what the president and the AD tell me. Rebecca Loba's on the board of trustees.
Is she the demanding one?
I get an email every time we don't play well.
All right, now listen.
We're not going to put up with this, he says.
Listen, pursuit of perfection, we were hyping it all up. Notre Dame on one end, UConn on the other, and then it kind of took a turn publicly the last 2 days with the back and forth with Muffet-McGraw. Any regrets there?
Oh, it's a shame that it even came up. I think it was unnecessary. I don't think anything was gained by it. So I don't know the reasons why it came up. But anytime you get to this point in the season, you really want the focus to be, on the game and the players. And I think for a little bit there, I think it got away from us. I said to Muffet before the game, I said, it's been an interesting couple of days, huh? And she kind of just laughed and smiled, you know. It's in the world that we live in today, you almost got to expect that. That's the world right now, you know. There isn't a story yet. Well, there will be one. Just hold on a second.
Well, the basketball world expects you to win, and your team's constantly delivering. You can get a good night's sleep now. Finally, right? Something you haven't had in a couple weeks.
No, there won't be any sleeping tonight, but next couple of days, yeah, I'm going to try to catch up.
Gino, enjoy it.
Thanks, guys. And you guys did a great job, by the way. I love watching you on TV. I love listening to you. The energy that you bring,
thank you.
It's unbelievable. I told Kara yesterday the chemistry that these guys have, absolutely phenomenal.
We just need your spirit with the Phillies moving. Gino Auriemma, his 9th national championship. Another perfect season. Number 5 for them as they finish 40-0